is completely 180 degrees. They've been indiscriminate, and they've taken a chainsaw to these things. We've seen that with workers from the nuclear workers, the NNSA, our nuclear stockpile, and CDC workers working on the bird flu, being fired by DOGE and then having to be rehired when someone realized, oh gosh, we need those people. Why is the supposedly conservative party taking such a radical and extremist and sloppy approach to this?
So I've been down to CDC several times. Actually, Dr. Howery, one of my former attendings, works there, and I'm in close contact with the CDC. They have about, 13,000 employees? 13,000 employees at the CDC. In the last couple of years, those probationary people, which is about 10% of their employee base, which is about 1,300 people, which you're referring to, a lot of the work they do is duplicitous with AI. Once again, one of the problems we have. I happen to be a doctor. I know a few things. Okay, just give me a break. Here's what we know. If you have 13,000 employees, and I'm sure you're aware of the size of government, the second biggest leading job creators in the last 4 years has been government, next to healthcare. Healthcare first, government second. If we continue to grow the size of government and we can't afford it, it's going to have shortfalls in your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and other things that we can't afford, guys. We have to make some decisions. And one of the things with the CDC, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, this is my opinion, you may disagree with it, but in my opinion, when you make those 10% cut to new hires, a lot of it is duplicitous jobs. And I've talked to Dr. Howell, and I've talked to the CDC director, and I'm in close contact with them, and I know how they do their research. And I know how computers work in ferreting out those information, the treatments, the recommendations, what they should and they shouldn't be done. And I believe that they could do more with less, just like the Marine Corps and everybody else does, when you have to do more with less in order to survive.
That's not the question.
Nobody can hear him when you're yelling. Please let him continue.
Trying to do more with less. That's reasonable. What's not reasonable is taking this chainsaw approach, which they obviously admit when they fired these people and decided, oh, we fired the wrong people. We've got to bring them back in. Why is this being jammed down the pipe so rushed and sloppily?
So,
Yeah! That's the question.
my understanding is when you say you have this many employees that you have to cut, that organization decides who they're going to cut. Now, they may make...
Wow.
But they're not forced. They're being forced to cut.
They're being forced to cut, but not necessarily who to cut. Now we can debate all day whether they should be cut or not. But the fact of the matter is there's going to be downsizing government, just like we've had in the past, downsizing the military. I've been in the military where the president came in, a Democratic president came in and said the military will be slashed. And it gets dramatically and people get kicked out of the Marine Corps. And they don't want to go. And I've seen it. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying it is a fact of budgets based on who's in control of the government, where that money goes.
We're downside Congress. Elon's doing your job anyway.
Nobody can hear him and nobody can hear you, so please be respectful.
My point, though, is the conservative approach is to take this in a slow and methodical way so that you make sure you do it right. And that's not happening.
So when it comes to spending, and this is where we will agree, or hopefully, maybe we don't agree, but when we talk about presidential powers, now I've always been a big person that believes that the president should never do anything that affects monetary, basically taxation or anything that has an impact, economic impact over $100 billion. There's actually a REINS Act that doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, executive orders are limited because I think that's fair. I think it should be a balance, right? And you can say, well, I don't like when Trump does this and I don't like when Biden does this. I personally think we have to go more slow. But I'm not the president, and this is going to be litigated. It's going to place up all the public opinion. But this is also a reaction to growing the government rapidly, just like it's shrinking rapidly. Maybe not to the same extreme, but this is a reaction to something that's happened by expanding the government rapidly. Next question.
We're not going to be disrespectful. We're not going to. Steve Moeller from Roswell.